Today we will be combining limiting and excess reactants with percent yields. So the first question that we're going to cover today is considering the reaction zinc plus sulfur produces zinc sulfide. If 25 grams of zinc and 30 grams of sulfur are mixed, how many grams of zinc sulfide will form? So when making our list into our reaction here, I know I have 25 grams of zinc, 30 grams of sulfur. I need to determine how many grams of zinc sulfide are present. This means we have a limiting and excess reactant problem. Either the 25 grams of zinc is true or the 30 grams of sulfur is true. And we need to figure out who the true value is. So one way of solving this problem is by doing two stoichiometry problems. We will take the 25 grams of zinc and we will convert it to grams of zinc sulfide. And then we'll begin with the 30 grams of sulfur and convert it to grams of zinc sulfide. Once we determine what these mass values are, we will circle the smallest amount because that is the maximum number of grams that each of these reactants can produce. One of them is going to be able to produce more than the other, and that one will be known as the excess reactant. So let's fill in our information here. All right, we know that when we go from grams to moles, the mole is set equal to 1. And when we're looking for the mass of zinc, we use our periodic table. We find zinc, and it is 65.37. We now have our mole to mole ratio. So I look for zinc, and zinc has a coefficient of 1. And zinc sulfide has a coefficient of 1 in this balanced chemical equation. When we're going from moles to grams, the mole is set equal to 1, and we need to add up 1 zinc and 1 sulfur. So 1 zinc and 1 sulfur. Zinc has a mass of 65.37, and sulfur has a mass of 32.06. I add that together for 97.43 grams. Right. I'm going to do my math here. I'm going to divide, then multiply, and I'm going to get an answer of 37.3 grams. Then I'm going to come down here and fill in my mass of sulfur. I know then in 1 mole that sulfur again had a molar mass of 32.06 grams according to the periodic table. I'm now going to look for my ratio. Again, my coefficient for zinc sulfide is 1, and my coefficient for sulfur is 1 in the balanced chemical equation. And in 1 mole of zinc sulfide, I've already added together the 1 zinc and the 1 sulfur for 97.43 grams. I'm going to take 30 divided by and then multiply by, and that's going to give me an answer of 91.2 grams. So the correct solution here is how many grams of zinc sulfide will form? Well, the maximum that can form is 37.3 grams. So that means that zinc here is the limiting reactant. Here, sulfur could make way more than 37.3 grams. So that means we have more than what is needed, and this is the excess reactant. So letter B, identify the limiting reactant. Who is it? Well, we said it was zinc. Now here's the new step for today. How many grams of the excess reactant will remain after the reaction is over? Well, we know that this 25 grams of zinc is the correct amount. And we know that 30 grams of sulfur is way too much. So what we have to do here is we have to start with a limiting reactant. And we have to convert the 25 grams of zinc, and we need to convert it to the mass of sulfur to find out how much is actually going to be used. So let's do this problem. Let's take our 25 grams of zinc and let's convert it to the grams of sulfur to find out how much of it we have to use. So again, in 1 mole of zinc, right, we know that there's 65.37 grams of zinc. We're looking at my ratio. Again, it's 1:1 in the balanced chemical equation. And in 1 mole, we know that the mass of sulfur, according to the periodic table, is 32.06. So I'm going to do the math for this. And once I do the math, I end up getting a value of 12.2 grams. I get 25 divided by, multiplied by, and I get 12.2 grams used. But remember, the question is how much will remain after the reaction is over. So I can see that I was given 30 grams, but I am only going to use 12.2 grams. So I need to subtract those two values, and when I subtract those two values, I have 17.8 grams of sulfur remaining. And then tying in to what we've been working on with percent yield, if 32.5 grams of zinc sulfide is actually produced, what is the percent yield of the reaction? So remember, percent yield means you're looking for the product, the mass of the product. So here, this is telling me in the laboratory, I'm making 32.5 grams. I have to divide it by the theoretical amount, which is the correct answer from part A. We're talking about zinc sulfide. We had two choices for zinc sulfide. This is the amount that is going to be made. So we have to expect our theoretical value to be 37.3 grams. So we'll take 32.5 divided by 37.3, and then we'll multiply it by 100, and that'll give us about an 87.1% yield. And as we said, if we could have 80% or better, we would be successful.